Hi everybody. So today we're going to be continuing to expand on this series into other nanocellulose applications. And here I have a wrap from Marge's Little Lulu. It's clearly in needs of conservation. There is a folded piece here with rips. There are rips everywhere to the side and to the bottom and this area here. And also, as you can see, the staple here, staple hole, needs supporting with either Tengu tissue or some other things, nanocellulose perhaps, right? So right now this is in bad position to fold this over, but what I could do is flatten, spray it with water and flatten it first, right? Warm water first, right? And then to let it sit for about 10 minutes to saturate, and then we can flatten it. Right? So we let it sit and come back, guys, all right? All right, so it's been about 5 minutes. I'm just gonna fold this out because wet paper is weak paper, as Rick Morgan says, right? And he's 100% correct on this. So if we spray with water and let's flatten it. Let's pull this over. Right, it needs to be pulled this way. I smell the acid in the paper here. It's quite fragile, I have to say, so it might need more wetting in the middle, and we let it permeate for another 5 minutes. We'll come back and flatten it some more, right? Okay. All right, so this had tape on it at some point. You can see that the tape marks there. And, you know, this is just an experiment for the nanocellulose, so I'm not gonna worry about the tape for now. I'm just gonna show you the steps to take care of these holes here, this hole and this hole here that is forming. All right, so what are we gonna do now? We're gonna finish by getting rid of the excess water, right? Of course, I smell the acid, so this is, ideally you will need to deacidify this, right? I'm not going to, because it's just an experiment, right? It's an experimental wrap, just to show you how the nanocellulose can be applied. All right, this is the center fold basically, and now we're going to turn it to the back side. And reflatten it on this side. All right, guys, so I have now the sheet ready, and clearly this area and this area and this area need to be supported with nanocellulose. So you can use either straight nanocellulose like I showed you before on top of these, or you can use sheets that I created of nanocellulose, very thin sheets. This is about 9 microns in width, you know, extremely thin sheets. And these I can slice up into small pieces. I'll show you how I make these. Slice them up into small pieces and then place them directly with a bit of nori on top of here, here, and here, and they will stick, right? Much like Japan tissue, Tengu tissue can stick also. All right, so all I have to do is cut up these pieces now, slice them with a razor blade to size, and then brush these areas with nori paste and go from there. Can you use methyl cellulose? The methyl cellulose I have made is 1.5%, and it's not good enough for this task. So you need to use something stronger. If you are using methyl cellulose, make it at a very high concentration, higher concentration, so it sticks, right? And nori paste, at least I tried it for several sheets and it does work, right? All right, let me try it now with you guys. So what I'm gonna do first is cut up the pieces I need. I'll be right back. These sheets are exceedingly strong, right? You could try to rip them apart and you wouldn't be able to, right? And they're very, very thin. Thickness here about 9 microns altogether. So you could make these thicker, you could make them thinner even. I chose to make them per formula, and the formula is going to give us a very specific width, and the width here in this case is 9 microns, right? So they're rather thin, right? Okay, let me cut up a few of them, a few strips, and we can use these strips for our work on the little Lulu. When you cut them, you need a fresh blade, because this is not a fresh blade, so it didn't cut them up straight. Okay, let me get a fresh blade, okay? All right, I got a fresh blade. Let's try to cut them the right way. So I'm gonna get rid of this piece here and cut up pieces about this thick, right? Okay, so now I have the strip. This strip actually is deceptive when you look at it. You say to yourself, is this plastic? This strip is very strong. It is thin, it is transparent, and you can place it on the area you want with a bit of nori paste or wheat paste. Something strong that can enable the strip to adhere. My only fear is that CGC would look at these and say, oh, you have restoration here, which I don't have restoration. I have cellulose on cellulose, essentially, right? So it's conservation. I'm going to cut up a piece for each of the staple holes to support them. One piece is enough, I think, in this case. Pretty strong stuff. And then I need a piece for that tear on the top, which is I have here. So I have the pieces I want. Now I can bring get rid of these pieces here. Let me go get my book and come back. One moment. Before I get my wrap, I'm gonna just put these, set them aside, and then I'll go get my wrap. I'll be right back. So this is just nori paste and some methyl cellulose together, and I'm making a light solution of the paste here. What I'm going to do is brush the staple holes and brush this side here that needs support, right? And then place at the end, place these pieces of nanocellulose on top. So this is going to get some like this. This will get some like this. And this will also get the nanocellulose. Rips are here and here. Excuse me, I can see them. So we're going to start with the staples. So I have one for the upper staple, one for the bottom staple. Just going to place them on very gently like this. Tap them, let them sit. Don't play with them too much, right? And then the other one is here. I'm going to put it on like this. Tap them again, let him sit. This is longer than I need, so I may have to cut it later, but that's all right. So I'll put it on this way, and I'll cut the rest later, right? Or just leave it, right? All right, what else do I need? I also need to brush them a second time with the same mixture. This way, you're guaranteeing they're gonna stick. And that's pretty much it. And now we're gonna cover this and put it in the press. All right, guys, it just occurred to me that before I put it in the press, I need to do this area of the spine where we have some ribs here in this area. Let me just do it with just the nanocellulose furnish that I made last time, so you can look at the other video and see how I made it, right? And very little we need of that. And I'm gonna actually, before I do that, I'm gonna brush this area also with a combination of the nori and methyl cellulose. So I'm gonna cover this area here like that before I do anything, right? And now I'm gonna top this area with my nanocellulose. Don't anticipate I need much. Just like furnish dust almost. It's actually this method here works, right? Works really well. So I see really little need to make the strips at the end. If this method works, the strip, you can use them for dry repair, you know. And this method, if it works better, then use it for the wet repair. Does that make sense? And put it in the press. Paper towels on the top, it goes in the press. All right, guys, let's take a look at the results. This is overnight. And I changed paper towels a few times just to get it dry and pressed. Let's see first the tape side. I mean, it does look like a tape actually, right? It does look like a tape, I have to admit. Let's remove this gingerly so we don't cause any damage, right? Especially needs some cleaning. Just has some tengu tissue on it for some reason, but in comparison, this stuff, guys, is in my opinion, at least, it's stronger than tengu tissue. It'll stay on for a longer time. This is when I did the casting on this side. I did the other side by mistake, but that's all right. Look, came off right, straight out. Do you see the tape? Do you see where I put these things in? Right? These pieces of, say, nanocellulose went right here. Do you see them? Do you see this? See how transparent it is? I see the top part of it. I don't see the bottom part of it. It really is almost transparent. You don't see it too well at all. And I'm gonna fold this eventually just to make sure it's working well, right? These things are strong, man. They're strong, right? As I say it, I rip it. All right, let's take a look here at the other side. So I'm gonna take this off. And of course, this piece here, put it against the black so you can see it better, right? So this is the side I did the casting on with the nanocellulose, and you can see that all the holes got sealed, right? Yeah, look at that, right? And this can be trimmed and you won't see it. You don't see it at all, right? So a brush of methyl cellulose with some nori, and then the nanocellulose goes on top. And this is the tape, right? It looks like a tape we put on. I wonder if CGC will confuse it for a tape. It's like a tape carrier, right? And it's cellulose actually. And this you can't even see. These you can't even see at all, right? Remember how this was? Look at it, it's now entirely sealed. And the hole here, you can see a little bit with my naked eyes. You can see a little bit of the nanocellulose in here, right? And if you try to fold it now, what happens? Let's try to fold it. Let's see if I can fold it without breakage of the nanocellulose strips. And I'll show you how I created these. These were created with a method called evaporation casting. You can see it folds with the spine of the wrap, right? There is no evidence of it getting loose or getting kicked out or anything like that, right? It's stuck on, right? Better than Tenkujo? In a sense, yes, because it is not showing as much as Tenkujo, right? And that something could come back to bite us in the ass with CGC. Again, I don't know how CGC is going to be looking at this. They should look at it as a conservation method because it is entirely reversible. It is entirely the use of cellulose here, again, fibers. And I don't know what their opinion is on this nanotechnology that we're using, right? First time being used in comic books. So it's great to have it in stable conditions. As far as making holes and things like that, when you want to try to make a hole again with, say, let's see if we can make a hole here with this. Yeah, very easily, right? Very easily you can make a hole, right? Yeah. So if we need to insert this back, it's easily inserted back into the staples, right? You probably don't even need to make the hole. You could probably just get away with it without making the holes. Yeah, look at that, right? Right? Nanocellulose tape made through evaporation casting. How is that? All right. All right, guys, so next time we'll look at how we're gonna make these evaporation casting things, and we'll look at the third method of using nanocellulose by adding it to fiber that you use for leaf casting. It's just strengthen the fiber. It adds that level of strength to the fiber that we haven't seen before, especially the kind of fibers many people use tend to be weak, right? So if you use it alongside, then you have a very strong leaf casting material, right? Very strong furnish. We'll do that next time. By the way, guys, there is a study that was done in Queen's University by Robin Cannon that shows the use of 5% gelatin and 2.5% metal cellulose can also enable the adherence of these strips to paper. So they're good also in conservation.